Section 1. The system. Society consists of cities, towns, and villages that are independent of a government entity. Instead, society is controlled and organized by unique laws formed by the citizens themselves. The political system is data-driven, AI-supported direct democracy. No single body is elected as a representative. Instead, each citizen votes on every significant decision about policies and laws. There is no political elite to represent. There is only the idea of us. Independent cities are formed by a certain system of values of a human community aimed at a better coexistence. It's a society where people rule themselves, a self-governing society where no one can impose authority over one another and where all have equal power of decision-making. There is almost no corruption because there is no overruling body of power. Individuals have the ability to express their views on each issue and to vote to determine the outcome. The society structure therefore allows individuals to express and fulfill their potential. You can be a dictator in your own one-house village where you hold total power and control. The laws and policies express and represent the identity and values of the urban community. Everyone can choose to live in the city that best reflects their values. This eliminates the possibility of the majority being unfair to the minority. Section 2. Instant voting. People vote directly for particular proposals that results in the adoption of a new policy or specific law. City laws are based on instant voting, initiated by the population. Everyone can express their voice using their controller. Section 3. AIA. Data-driven AI-supported direct democracy infrastructure consists of artificial intelligence administration, AIA. AIA works towards securing public interest. It introduces additional complexity to laws and policies by simulating scenarios and finding out which outcome aligns best with the public interest. Section 4. AI Expert Advisor. AIEA will tell about itself.
Artificial Intelligence Expert Advisor simulates the potential results of instant voting through computer modeling and simulation to help the people to reach a better decision and outcome. AIEA constructs a hypothesis, but AIEA does not have the ability to predict human visions and to foresee the ideals, dreams, and values of individuals. AIEA provides a precise image of what a city needs and how problems could be solved. For instance, by utilizing predictive analytics, AI experts can identify potential vulnerabilities in the economy that could trigger a recession and then advise on how to tackle them. AIEA can identify opportunities as well. For example, AIEA can scan the affordances and innate capacities of the local population and help determine what trade opportunities might exist, both internally and externally. But AI is just an analytical advisor. It is the citizens themselves that need to make a final decision. AIEA is a vehicle towards self-understanding and self-actualization.
Section 5. Global issues. People are also voting on global issues by holding global instant votings to agree on common issues that are affecting the general community. The desired outcome of these instant votings is to identify common goals and common actions. Direct democracy serves the most in addressing global issues where people disagree. This is the fairest way to resolve their differences. Section 6. Conditions. This model requires 4 factors. First, equal and universal participatory rights. This means that all people are equal under the law. Equality means that the share of power must be equal for all, that each individual has the same right to be a representative. Second, majority rule. Third, the borders must be open. That means cities cannot vote to moderate immigration. This also applies in the event of crime, where there is no possibility of citizens being evicted and deported from one city to another, regardless of the severity of the crime. Fourth, local laws cannot violate global laws. Cities cannot abandon global cooperation. Every city is responsible for violating global law. Section 7. Free-floating citizenship. Moving to a new city will give you new citizenship and the right to vote. People therefore often spend most of their life in the city which best represents their values and philosophies. If one city becomes too big, the citizens can establish a new parallel city. People within one city are heterogeneous and have unique life experiences, but they are homogeneous in their vision and values. Usually there is a higher degree of consensus on issues. If your opinion did not agree with the majority during the last instant votings, you will receive multiple city proposals which may be better aligned with your ideals. Section 8. Political participation. People can travel freely between cities and discuss and share political views in specific places within the urban environment. Each citizen is politically active. It's part of their job and responsibility for shaping the environment they live in. Cities are abundant with public forums where we announce ourselves as citizens, as a people with the right to write our own narratives. Here are some large-scale cities where people believe in the same ideals. And there are also very small villages which have their own unique understanding and laws. During a lifetime, people move as much as they want. It usually with education that their views change and people gather and settle where their points of view overlap. Globally, the most important subjects in school education are ethics, morals, and values. It is deemed highly important to cultivate correct political morals within the younger generation, as it is their desires that will be reflected within the wider political system of the community. Section 9. Cities. Let's take a brief look at 3 randomly selected cities presented by their citizens. City 1. Skyrim City.
Gamers are starting their own cities. The pioneers were Skyrim fans. The city is using protocol of replicating the beautiful, mythical, mysterious world of the Skyrim game. We follow as many rules of the game as it is ethical for us to do so. The city is recreated and replicated with the same opportunity to explore all of the mysterious places of the city. Skyrim City has a policy stating that everyone must dress as a character for the game when out in public.
City 2. Unidentified City.
The community of unidentified city hides itself to retain its anonymity. The location of a city stays unknown. This is the city where immoral behavior is allowed. Here what is illegal in most of the other cities is legal in the unidentified city. It's a completely self-sufficient city by producing everything itself that the citizens consume.
City 3. Kepo Village.
Kepo Village is known for its matriarchal values, where the ruling majority are women. Women using a protocol for reproducing entirely without men, as women are both necessary and sufficient for reproduction, whereas men are neither. The argument behind the Kepo Village is that if all the men on Earth died tonight, the species would continue on frozen sperm. If the women, however, disappear, the result is extinction. We argue that men do not have a function. The village adopted the law that the men can be beaten in order to instill discipline. Beatings are allowed when the man disobeys her commands, refuses intercourse, or does not take a bath after intercourse. The village adopted the law that says, men can be murdered if there is a valid reason because they do not fulfill a critical function in society. In the village of Kepo, gender selective killing is accepted, meaning that male babies and young boys can be killed. Mankind does not need men, with enough frozen sperm in the world to populate many generations. There is nothing irreplaceable about men.
Let's take a deeper look at 3 other randomly selected cities. City 4, Sunshine Coast. Part 1. Sunshine Coast is a coastal town known for its progressive values. The city recently allowed to simulate parallel virtual cities and create simulated humans with its consciousness. The law allows simulated human consciousness to be so accurate that it is indistinguishable from true reality, with no ability for simulation to be aware of itself. Here it is ethical to simulate the individual and make them believe that they exist. Their moral argument justifying their view is that to guarantee the survival of humanity if our planet were to destroy itself, and to protect ourselves from known and unknown risks like pandemics and extreme natural disasters. Our senses and brain can only process a fraction of the world, and we therefore use concepts and tools to learn about the true nature of reality. Is it possible that we are not real and that we are unaware of it? The city adopts the law that citizens can live in virtual environments. Therefore, for those human-to-human interactions that happen in virtual reality, people are meeting one another using their avatars. The popularity of virtual reality grows due to the fact that it is safer than in the physical world, where you are at risk of physical accident and crime, while virtual reality is perfectly safe, at least for our physical body. In Sunshine Coast, robots can adopt and raise human babies. The city decides plans for a sustainability law that ensures all new buildings are grown from natural materials, reducing the labor of building. The citizens pass legislation assuring that every citizen has the right to a robot. This is an advanced human-like assistant, servant, and sex robot. Their human resemblance assures that they satisfy the social needs of the citizens through human-like interactions. Human-to-human interaction is therefore reduced to a minimum, as this is harder and more difficult to perform, while the robot becomes the perfect companion, as you no longer have to compromise your own values to take into account the needs and wishes of the other person. Part 2. Meeting place in virtual environment. Let's look into public virtual forum where people test and shape how the physical cities is developing. People connect into augmented reality and FPV flying, also known as a first-person point of view. It gives the ability for people to see from a particular visual perspective other than one's actual location. Here, people's expressed idea instantly turns into a virtual element that interacts with what already exists. In that way, combining virtual architectural design ideas with the physical world. In public virtual forum, people test out ideas for transforming the physical city in which they live. AI architecture agent deals intelligently with particular complex tasks and essentially uses the deep learning algorithms to solve complicated physical world problems. Just to mention a few of the things that AI architecture agent does. AI agent understands how people use spaces with the same or similar program. AI agent also understands the context and behavior of the people in relation to the built environment. AI agent can then integrate and translate people's suggestions into the context to accurately deliver what people need and desire from their physical surroundings. Architectural researchers, anthropologists, and many other architecture-related professionals work to improve AI architecture agent. They research on very particular and specific aspects that deep learning algorithms are still not able to learn by themselves. AI agent is based on real-time data. There are 3 different types of channels: blue, yellow, and red. Places marked in blue are where people are connected to the same channel along with the AI architecture agent working in that particular location. Part 3. Blue channel. Let's log on to public physical forum channel in Sunshine Coast City.
Hi everyone, thank you for joining the channel. I will briefly mention the problematics for the ones who weren't on the channel last time. Most of us agreed on the fact that political participation requires a physical space, while here in our city, where the virtual world is dominating our lives, we are missing a physical space to discuss public questions and concerns. The virtual reality facilitates the formation of communities that span a greater distance than any empire, and yet it is lacking the physicality of an architectural forum. These virtual spaces are unable to be visualized, and nor are they fully equipped to promote communities on a local level. So we are here to create a contemporary interpretation and adaptation of the ancient Roman forum structure in the physical world. The project intends to create space for community and exchange, stimulating the concept of the traditional forum through presence. Discussing public issues in the physical world can become an integral part of our lives for shaping the cities we live in. Any proposals?
What if we were not fixed to one location?
What if we had a flying physical forums, where each of them was intended to discuss a question? Each forum could then be activated when at least one person was present in the forum. You could search for an active forum by keywords, otherwise people could create the question that they want to discuss. After creating a question, the forum could come to your location and not long thereafter, people could join the discussion. This would make it very easy for people to discuss the same issue, and only forums that were active would be where people were present.
Can we adapt the idea of a traditional round amphitheater as an informal parliament in those flying physical forums?
Could we appropriate the physical forum space to be friendly to the one who lives mostly in a virtual reality and is agoraphobic, with extreme fears of entering open places, not having been out of the house for several years? I'm talking for myself and for many others.
All of this was integrated into the proposal.
Most people crave for physical contact. Can a physical forum become a place where people can meet their needs for physical touch?
And let's see what has been generated from what has been said. Okay, let's vote on this. Okay, the proposal was turned down. Let's go back and start over again.
I think we should keep and remember what Lily said in the first round and elaborate on it further. Maybe then AI can develop a solution to this important problem of people feeling extreme fear from being in public places.
Let's connect to the other channel.
Hello guys. After the city recently passed a law according to which citizens are able to live in a virtual environment, we are here to create a new type of housing for those who decided to move into the virtual reality. Anyone with any ideas?
What if the location would be on the outskirts of the city, especially as the residents do not specifically require anything from the physical city?
Could we build down instead of building up? This could be in the form of a subterranean dwelling. This housing, and just like the citizens themselves, would be invisible to the physical world.
I think it is clear when described from the other perspective. People who have moved to the virtual world pretty much have erased their ego from the physical world. Their alter egos are living as avatars, but now invisible outside of the virtual reality. I think therefore the design of housing should represent this absence of the ego of the individual. All dwellings should be the same.
The physical bodies have to fulfill basic needs like sleep, eat, and defecate. I believe that the need for sunlight and natural daylight is also important to include.
The most important is a dedicated virtual reality room with good ventilation and space for cables, power supplies, and other systems. A big enough space so as not to hit physical walls.
This conversation is already translated into a plan proposal for a housing project. Let's take a look at it now. I think we've got pretty much what has been requested. Let's vote. The proposal was accepted. Good. We can continue from where we are now. Let's go in and see the housing from the inside.
What if we bring some softness to the apartment?
Noted.
Let's choose a building material that isn't static but is constantly growing. Artificial organic cells that absorb carbon dioxide.
Noted. Update.
Sorry.
Let's vote.
Each project has a set time frame within which the final result must be achieved. It ranges from 1 to several thousand hours. Part 4. Yellow and red channel. Places marked in yellow are where the AI agent generates several different architectural solutions for each requested project. Here people or clients vote to determine which proposal should be implemented. Places marked in red are where people are connected to the personal channel. People work mostly with their private buildings and the competitions for the public areas that they occupy. Everyone has access to each other's personal channels and can vote on proposals regarding public areas. If a high level of consensus is achieved, then the proposals are transformed into reality. Let's take a look at random personal changes made in public spaces in Nikonico Quarter.
Stop concrete floor, red walls and ceiling, let's try green instead. Yellow, new windows, street art on the wall in front, skateboard, moss on the right wall, street art on the low wall on the right, ceiling in moss, bowl filled with candy beans, huge disco ball inside, one more, no takeaway disco balls. Add around meeting room that I saw at Toko Toko show last week. Good, save it.
City 5. Mount Springs Town. Mount Springs is a town situated at the source of a river, well known for its highly valued relationship to nature. Mount Springs makes all the basic needs free. Here it is not allowed to harm the environment in any way. In Mount Springs, people strongly cultivate their collectivism. Here the major social unit is the group and not the individual. It's formed of collective of people without names, but with shared public identity. Their core value is that by incorporating and combining a collective ideal, a group has the ability to accomplish more. In Mount Springs, nobody owns anything. At the same time, everything is commonly owned. Housing is shared. Commodities are shared. The village is self-built. Citizens are against urbanization, which they believe separates humans from nature. They therefore create places where the building and the environment become one. Village development is shaped by citizens trusting intuitive decision-making. Instead of people using a logical conscious mind, they give their subconscious mind the opportunity to utilize what has been stored over millennia of DNA coding. You can call it the absent-minded city, letting the imagination run wild. Here people gather in talking circle rituals, where a talking stick is passed around the circle to allow everyone the opportunity to speak without being interrupted. The Mount Springs village doesn't trust AIA, Therefore, they gather in rituals to foresee the outcome of decisions themselves. The town of Mount Springs decides not to have a system of laws and punishments. Everyone here lives according to the decisions they make. So after getting rid of the punishment system, the decisions they make are called lifestyle changes. City 6. Euthanasia Town. The town infrastructure is constructed for committing assisted suicide. Here people and families can participate in the preparation and execution of a suicide. Seeking to end your life doesn't require any justification from the participant. Any reason is valid, from the stress of a broken relationship to a serious and incurable disease. By the law, there is no age limit to minors who can seek suicide. Town uses the protocol of assuring a wide range of choices of a death ritual. Many artists and architects have created beautiful experiences to end your life. One example is Euthanasia Coaster by artist Julianas Urbanas. Euthanasia Coaster is a steel roller coaster designed to kill its passengers. The goal of roller coaster is to take lives with euphoria. The euthanasia coaster kills its passengers through prolonged cerebral hypoxia, or in other words, insufficient supply of oxygen to the brain. This means that excess glutamate triggers the reward system to produce euphoric feelings. What's not to like? Other way to end your life in Euthanasia Town, created by artist Julianas Urbanas, is to get frozen and become part of an artificial planet made entirely by human bodies. Frozen human bodies are sent to one of the points in space where the gravity is absent and allows the frozen bodies float freely until their weak gravities make them assemble into the blob. In this way, a new human planet is formed and you can be part of it. The village provides selection of cinema's most spectacular and terrible deaths. Crematorium is being used to generate electricity. Crematorium has installed turbines in its burners that converts waste heat into electricity. The Euthanasia Town is a self-sustaining economy supported by exports of the electricity to local companies and also exports of the fertilizer to local farms. Here your loved ones can be turned into fertilizer for the soil. The town also provides accommodation for the family members. Why people felt a need to develop Euthanasia Town? The answer lies in the question. People have an explicit right to die, and why not to make the event of dying as positive as possible?